välkomna till Design Talk med ELLE och POLESTAR. Idag ska vi prata om mode i framtiden. Och som ni vet så har modeindustrin ett enormt avtryck på klimatet. Och därför behöver förändringar ske för att framtidens plagg ska bli allt mer hållbara. Så hur kan vi som modefantaster få ett mer hållbart konsumtionstänk? Detta ska jag prata med min första gäst om, Jenny Rosén, CEO på Swedish Fashion Council. Välkommen Jenny.
Tack.
Så för de som inte vet, vad är Swedish Fashion Council och vad gör ni?
Men Swedish Fashion Council är en branschorganisation som jobbar för att främja, utbilda och innovera svensk modebransch. Och vi gör en rad olika projekt då för att uppfylla de här kraven. Och ett av de projekten är att vi tar fram en rapport som heter Fashion Transformations. Som vi bland annat då lanserade här på Polestar i november 2022. Och nästa upplaga kommer då lanseras under november 2023. Men inte nog med det, utan vi jobbar ju också med en rad goda exempel i vårt inkubatorprogram som heter SFC Incubator. I grunden då till inkubatorprogrammet är att vi tittar på en hög kreativ höjd kombinerat med innovativa affärsmodeller.
Och om man är modeintresserad och gillar att klä sig trendigt, alltså, går det att vara hållbar idag?
Det är en stor fråga. Alltså först och främst kan vi säga att modebranschen befinner sig i en stor transformation idag. Det betyder att vad vi gör är egentligen att vi sätter alldeles för mycket plagg på marknaden. Och vad vi kommer behöva göra i framtiden är att se till att vi sätter färre plagg på marknaden med bättre kvalitet som då cirkulerar under längre tid. Och det finns ju massa incitament för att de ska göra det, och det kommer vi väl prata mer om framöver. Men som konsument idag är det svårt att veta vad som är hållbart och inte. Och där tittar ju också EU på olika lagstiftningar som snart kommer implementeras.
Och vilka köpbeteenden kan göra störst skillnad idag?
För idag köper ungefär varje svensk ungefär 15 kilo kläder per år. Och idag ser vi att 8 kilo av de kläderna hamnar i soporna. Och det behöver vi göra någonting åt. De kläderna som köps behöver man använda. Och självklart om man vill ha ett lägre avtryck, att man kan titta på andrahandsmarknaden eller andra incitament. Hyra, låna eller då upcyclade plagg.
Och vad för tips skulle du ge till de som tycker det är lite svårt att orientera sig i vintage och second hand-marknaden?
Den utvecklas ju hela tiden. Vi ser i Sverige redan 2020 omsatte andrahandsmarknaden i Sverige 3 miljarder och hela modebranschen omsatte 148 miljarder. Och vi ser att den här siffran ökar hela tiden, och det är på grund av digitaliseringen. Och digitaliseringen av de stora spelarna gör ju att det blir enklare att navigera i andrahandsmarknaden. Tidigare hade vi ju mer men de här aktörerna som har funnits länge på marknaden, Myrorna till exempel, som är traditionella välgörenhetsorganisationer. Men idag ser vi också de kommersiella jättarna i Sverige börjar ju också titta på andrahandsmarknaden. Och det är ju för att det finns stora incitament, alltså ekonomiska incitament för att driva på andrahandsmarknaden.
Tack så jättemycket för att du är här och delar med dig av dina tips.
Tack.
Tack. Så vad är det idag som gör att modeindustrin har så stort avtryck på klimatet? Och hur jobbar designers och företag för att framtidens plagg och accessoarer ska vara snällare mot planeten? Det ska vi diskutera med mina nytillkomna gäster. Welcome. Kamal Singh, Senior Designer, Color and Materials, Polestar, and Xu Lian Li and Valentina Gomez from Werewolf. Welcome. Thank you. So we all know that the fashion industry has a huge impact on the climate. Why is that, do you think?
Oh, I mean, the fashion industry touches almost every industry. So every single stage of production of the clothes we all wear has an impact. For example, the color of the clothes that we're all wearing today, 1 in 5 industrial pollutants can be attributed to the dye stuffs used to make that color. So, I mean, the fashion industry is the second most polluting industry on our planet.
Like we often talk about vintage, as we did before with Jenny Rosén, as a solution to the fashion industry's climate footprint. But is it really, or is it just a confirmation of our overconsumption?
Yeah, I think that having fast fashion in a vintage or a thrift store is a bit of hides the truth about like our overconsumption. And there's like company Vestiaire, who's now is banning fast fashion like Zara and H&M from their resale because it just places this band-aid on how we should be thinking about our levels of consumption.
Do you think that it has become more of a thing, like, do you feel that greenwashing has been a problem more than people actually working towards stopping the overconsumption?
I think greenwashing is definitely a problem, but we've seen like more regulations in the EU placing on greenwashing, and now it's becoming more important that there actually needs to be scientific data that is backing up the claims that a lot of these brands are putting out to their consumers.
And that's amazing, and we see a lot of it on many brands' websites nowadays, that they actually have become more transparent and are describing where things are coming from and the work behind pieces. So we hope we see more of that in the future.
Yeah, I think transparency is super important right now over their supply chain.
Yeah.
Can I have an input about the second-hand market? But because what I think is really important to see is the future of, I mean, like the fashion industry of the future will not be one solution. So I believe like the second-hand market will be really important as one solution, how we could keep the garments on the market longer. Because I mean, like it all will be like we need to use the clothes for a longer time than we do now. So I mean, like that's a good that's one good solution, but we will see a lot of solutions. It will not be like one business model that would solve the future of the fashion industry.
We have to be more creative with the work through that. And Kumal, Polestar has established an award at the ELLE Gala this year that is awarded to a company that works towards climate-neutral clothing production in the future. Why did you want to establish this award?
Well, the inspiration for the Polestar Design Towards Zero Award comes from our own initiative called the Polestar Zero Project, which is our moonshot goal to create a completely climate-neutral car by 2030, which means eliminating all emissions from the value chain. And I don't mean with carbon offsetting, I mean without carbon offsetting. So it's really our targeted focus at Polestar is to achieve that. And that's how we came up with the inspiration for this award, to actually identify and also elevate startups that are doing this work and companies that have innovative solutions, in a sense to cut through the noise, you can say. We talked about greenwashing, and it's a lot happening. And I see that the fashion industry and the car industry, we share a lot of the same challenges. So it's really important to collaborate, get together, and rally behind the most impactful solutions, like Wearable here. Yes.
Yeah. And for those who want to know, what is Polestar's connection to the fashion industry?
It's not something you think about at the first go. What does the car industry have to do with the fashion industry? But since we have such ambitious goals to cut down on emissions across everything, including materials that we use in the car, if you see the number of materials we use in a car today, it's in the hundreds, I would say, the different kinds of materials. And we really need to reduce all of that to use as many less versions of polymers or, raw material that we bring to a car. So we look a lot at the fashion industry because apart from being a designer and, the sort of creative foundation that the fashion industry is based on, it has really adapted very fast to technological advancements to combat climate change. And there's a lot we feel that we can learn, and vice versa.
Yeah. That's so cool. And Chio and Valentina, your company Wearable won the award at the gala this year. Congratulations. Tell us what you do at Wearable.
At Wearable, we're looking to make the fashion industry compatible with nature again. So what our team's goal is to replace synthetic fibers, textile dyes, and performance finishes with textile fibers that look to protein structure for these qualities. So our team uses microbes as our raw material factories to create these designer proteins with tailored color and functionality. And we combine them with proteins we can source from agricultural waste to create textile fibers that we can use in the clothes that you are all wearing today.
That's So nice. You have developed a completely new type of fiber. And how much more environmentally friendly is it than today's materials?
Yeah, so when we started Wearable, we wanted to address multiple parts of the supply chain, not just one stage like the dyeing or the fiber stage. So we see that we can address multiple parts. So in the beginning, we look at the raw materials. So with that, we can reduce greenhouse gases, and then we're able to cut out the dyeing process from the supply chain. So we're able to reduce water pollution and the ecotoxicity. And I think what a lot of people might not know is that natural fibers such as cotton or like a linen, once it's treated with the traditional dyes that are used today, it makes it, a lot of them, not to degrade back into the environment, or when they are degrading, they leach these toxic chemicals into our water system, which we end up then consuming, which is horrible. And then at the end of life, we really are looking for our fibers to be something that can either be backyard compostable, or when it goes back into the environment, it's not going to release the microplastics that are put out by synthetics.
Yeah. And you touched on that you touched on that topic, but when it comes to manufacturing fabrics, what are the biggest climate stressors today?
Oh, I mean, 60 to 80% of a textile's impact comes from the raw material stage of production. I think that's why we're so excited about how Polestar is looking at materials that they're using in their cars, because they see that like you need to look at the whole entire life cycle and look at where your raw materials are coming from to make sure that the impacts are lasting throughout the life cycle and the supply chain of your product that you're creating. I think that's what's interesting about this cross-industry collaboration, is that we're all looking at materials in the same way, and I think that's going to have to be the case across industries to create the change that we need to see in the world.
Yeah. And when do you think we will be able to wear pieces with wearable fabrics?
So our goal in the next 12 to 15 months is to have a prototype garment that we can showcase. That will be able to show our fibers color and performance, but really what we see in something that you can buy and then put in your closets, it's a much longer term, and that's around 3 to 5 years.
What significance does it have for the fashion industry that more sustainable materials are being produced now?
I mean, it's really exciting seeing all the incredible innovation in the industry, from regenerated cellulose to these fibers that are based in biology or biotechnology, mushroom leathers. There's over 100 billion garments, I think, made every single year. So that's a lot of material that we need to find solutions for. So it's the diversity of innovation that's coming out in the world is really gonna push the change we need.
And I've heard like people kind of sometimes questioning the vegan leathers, for example, and comparing it with the leather we have today. What do you want to say about that? What do you guys think?
I think the vegan leather is super exciting. I think the big problem with it is that a lot of it is backed by, like, you have to put this plastic backing on it, which then defeats the purpose of it being biodegradable. But I think companies have realized that, and they're making great strides to be able to create a new technology that will take that up.
And there are plenty of sustainable collections in stores today. In what way are they more sustainable than other garments? Will it make a difference if I buy them? Like, how big a difference will it make?
Oh, of course.
It's a question for all of you. But
I think that if brands don't see that their consumers are buying it, the financial incentive is extremely important. So having the consumer get excited to be wanting to buy these new types of technologies is really what's going to drive this change to go much quicker, if brands are seeing that they're getting the financial return back from that.
And what do you, Kamal and Jenny, think about that?
I think today is really hard to know what's sustainable or not, and that's EU look into, like, for example, like the Green Deal with greenwashing that will help out like the consumers, because like the legislation connecting to the whole fashion industry or like the textile industry have been behind, and all this legislation is now going forward, and that will help out like the consumers to actually know to buy more sustainable.
Can I? Do you
Yeah,
mind?
yeah, sure,
I
sure.
get really excited about the transparency that the
Yeah.
EU is really demanding out of their supply chains, and really understanding like where is your cotton coming from?
Yeah, exactly.
How is it being processed? It's really important to understand where your clothes are from and where they're going and how they.
And who made them?
Exactly. That's actually extremely
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
Yes.
So looking ahead, do you think our consumption behavior will be different in the future? With all the new
I hope
techniques
so.
and things?
I mean, I think 92 million pieces of clothing go into landfills every year. So I think that our consumption patterns do have to change.
Yeah.
But I do like buying clothes.
I think like you will see a totally different fashion industry in the future. We see like already today like a consumer that consume clothes both in the physical world and in the digital world. That combines like a lot of new business models. We also see like, I mean, like the whole thing will be, we will not see like one solution for the fashion industry. It will be a lot of different solutions creating the future of the fashion industry.
And do you all think that like the consumer in general has responded quickly enough to the change, or what do you think?
As I said before, I think it's hard for the consumer. We do see like when we look into, for example, like they do like a big consumer report. So they see like that the young consumers think differently, and that's of course like moving with the secondhand market and everything. I mean, like we could see the secondhand market now, it's growing like much faster than the regular market. So that's a sign of this. But it's still like I believe like we need a lot of regulations to be able to like speed up the transformation of the industry and to help the consumers out. Yeah.
And you name the younger ones as the ones who are more, who take in the responsibility more. But for the other people that have a hard time, like what are your top tips for consumers who want to reduce their fashion climate footprints today already?
I think I will give it to you first.
Oh yeah, I would say to look at the fiber tag. That's something that I find to be really important, is to see like what kind of fibers are being used, whether it's cotton or polyester. I think that will make a pretty big difference. It's very easy to do, so just look inside your shirt or something.
I get really excited also about the rental market that's happening. We're both wearing rentals today.
That's amazing.
I think that business model should become bigger in the future. I think Ghani's doing it, and H&M's doing it. It's really exciting kind of being able to share garments.
And also that bigger brands have hopped onto it, because in the beginning it was more smaller companies who started this trend on starting up rental places, and then bigger brands started to hop onto it. So that's really nice that they're keeping onto it.
Yeah. Can I add one more thing?
Yes.
Just saying off of the rental thing, I think that will also drive change in having brands create better products, because it will have your garments last much longer. And I think for the consumer, if you can buy a garment that will last longer and then put it on rental and then make money yourself from that, that will drive change as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think like, I mean, like use the clothes you buy. That will be the most important. So you don't buy a lot of things you don't use, because that will be the biggest impact.
It's what we talk a lot about as well in our work, how to increase durability, because that is a huge part of sustainability, is to improve the shelf life of products, be it clothes, be it cars. So we're also looking into sort of like yearly sustainability upgrades. So as soon as we have found better solutions for anything in the car interior exterior, we bring it into the running production. So you don't have to wait till the next car model to improve. You do it as a running change, because we are like learning so fast and things can be improved so quick. We don't have to wait 3 years, because the lead times in automotive are really long compared to fashion. But I mean, like, that's our outlook as well.
That's amazing. And thank you all for being here today with us here, and for your amazing insights on sustainability. Thank you so much. Hoppas ni som tittar har fått inspiration på hur ni kan bygga mer hållbar garderob. Tack så mycket. Hej då!